Hey, what's up you guys, it's Connor, and today we're going to be doing another book haul. It has been a little less than a year since the last time I've done a book haul, so I've acquired quite a few books, and I figured now's the time to go through them with you so that I can put them away on my shelf. I have a bad habit of leaving the books out in stacks until I film a book haul, and so because it's been almost a year, I've had these books like stacked all over the place in no particular order, and it's time to clear that up. I do still owe you guys a part 2 of the books that I read in 2024, and I do plan on filming that, even though it's been however many months, 5 months since 2024 ended, but I still need to tell you about them, and then also do the first 10 books that I've read in 2025. It's just, I need to get these off my desk and off the chaotic piles that I've got everywhere, so then I can sit down and focus and do a couple of wrap-ups and some reviews that I want to do. Before all that though, I owe you guys an update on Nook. If you guys don't know, I have a 10-year-old husky named Nook who's been on the channel for many, many years, ever since he was a puppy, and last time in my part 1 of the books that I read in 2024, I told you guys that he had a lump that we found on his leg. It turned out that that lump was cancerous, so he had soft tissue sarcoma, he had multiple procedures, he then went and we did chemo, so he was treated from I think we started at the end of January. No, that doesn't sound right. He ended up starting at the end of February because he got diagnosed at the end of January, and then he had his procedures and heal time from all of those. He had a biopsy, which was like the most painful, and then he had a surgery and he had to recover from both of those. We got him into the oncologist and she suggested a few different treatment plans. We ended up going with a chemo that's called 5FU, which is the same chemo that's used in adult people that have skin cancer. And apparently it's like incredibly deadly to dogs if they ingest it, but it is able to be injected into the surgical site because the type of cancer that Nook has is very localized. Usually it just kind of sits where it is and grows and destroys that area. So we went with that one because it's a pretty targeted chemo treatment. He had 6 doses of that over the course of 7 weeks, and we just had his 1-month checkup and they didn't see anything wrong. So fingers crossed that we, beat the cancer and it doesn't come back. If you guys don't know, Nook is literally sitting right here off frame. You cannot see him. At some point he's gonna move back there like he usually does. Also in the room today, we've got Stevie, who decided to join us, and she's doing good. Getting harassed by Nook all the time. Yeah, so that's the pup update. Everyone else is doing good. Jet is doing good. Stella is doing well. You haven't seen them in a while. It might be time to try to do some type of dog video because we no longer get bully make boxes. So we're kind of in limbo. They're not getting any sorts of fun mail that delivers them treats and toys currently. So we might have to remedy that here in the short future. One last housekeeping thing is that I'm going to be at BookNet Fest, which is, really coming up. It's by the time I get this video out, it's going to be in like 2 days. It's in Orlando, Florida, and it is held by Mari from My Name is Marinez and Sam from Thoughts on Tomes. I'm going to be on a couple of panels, so if you're there and you see me, come say hello. I am incredibly shy in person, so we can't both be shy. You get to come up and say hi, and I get to be like, oh my gosh, hi. But other than that, I think that's it. Like I said, these books are in absolutely no order. I'm sure I've missed a couple as well, just because I have stuffed books all over this house. I've got a few shelves over to my right, I've got a couple shelves over to my left, and then I have the ones that are behind my desk that you've seen in a previous video before. So just books all over the place, and I need to get organized. This is a part of that. The first book up is The Witness for the Dead by Catherine Addison. I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a book that was really popular on BookTube a while back called The Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison, and this is a sequel to that book. I had no idea that that book was going to get sequels. It reads like a standalone, and so when I found out that there's sequels, I wanted to pick up the first one and see how it is. It's a lot shorter than the original book was. The Goblin Emperor follows a character. He is a goblin. He's not a part of like the royal line proper. He's like some other half-son somewhere else. You find out very early on in the book that he's now going to become the heir, and so he has to travel to the capital and figure out what the heck he's doing, how to maneuver all of the political machinations that are happening in his world. He's not used to it. He doesn't really like it all that much, and you follow him while he's doing that. I remember really enjoying it when I read the first book, so I picked up the second one. I think it follows someone else. Yeah, so it follows a character named Selahar. Dara Selahar. It says that this is a standalone sequel, so I'm sure that it's probably just set in the same world. It might have some cameos of the other characters, but again, I like that first book. I'll let you guys know what I think when I read it. I usually stick my books right there, but Stevie's gonna block them. Next up, I picked up 5 Broken Blades. This looks incredibly beautiful. I saw it at the store and I was like, oh yeah, I could have that in my life. The end pages are absolutely stunning. I actually started this one and ended up picking up a different book instead. So I'll have to go back to this one and see how I truly feel about it. I only read like, I don't know, 20 pages or something. This one follows a bunch of different characters in this world. It says, let the best liar win on the back of the book. I've only met a couple of characters, and each of them seem like they're about to get swept into whatever the main plot of this book is. But it sounds like these 5 main characters are all going to team up there's Nook, to take down the king in some way. So I'm excited to see how that all works. Next up, I picked up book 2 and 3 in the Amari series. I'm not sure if it has a longer name, but that is Amari and the Great Game and Amari and the Despicable Wonders. I've actually already read Amari and the Great Game. I really, really enjoyed it. I am loving this middle grade series. It follows a character named Amari at the very beginning of the first book. Her brother is missing, and she does not believe that it's because he's like gotten himself in trouble or anything. She believes he didn't get himself in trouble. She believes he is in trouble and wants to try to find him or save him or whatever. She ends up finding out that there's this whole secret magical realm within our world, and she has to navigate that to try to save her brother. Obviously, the story continues in book 2 and 3, and other things are happening. The world is not like Amari thought it was, obviously, because she didn't know about the magical world, but even the magical world isn't like how it's depicted to her at the beginning. And so she's just figuring it all out. You find out she's got, her powers, and then all of the sidekicks are wonderful. So again, I'm really enjoying it. I gave the second book 5 stars, I believe. This is not a wrap up. I'm excited to read book 3 and continue along with her story and find out what happens next. This is by B.B. Alston. Next up, I picked up a couple of novellas that are in a series that I am enjoying but haven't read the next book in a while. Like, I've read the first 2, really enjoyed them, haven't picked up the 3rd book, and it's a 6-book series. But that series is The 12 Kings and Sherai by Bradley P. Ooh, he pronounces his name different than what I've been saying. I always pronounce his name as Bolio, but that's not right. I can't remember how he pronounces his name. The 2 novellas I picked up are The Doors at Dusk and Dawn and In the Village Where Bright Wine Flows. I don't remember in which order you read them, but I know that they come in between the different books. If you guys don't know, the first book, which is The 12 Kings and Sherai, follows a girl named Cheda. At the beginning of the book, you find out that her mother, or she blames her mother's death on these 12 immortal kings that rule the city-state in the middle of the desert. She decides she's going to take them down. And then you follow her as she is trying to figure out how to take out these immortal kings, if they have any weaknesses, and try to infiltrate and get into position to take them down. I, again, have really enjoyed the series. I really enjoyed the first 2 books, and I'm excited to pick up these novellas, see what happens in them. They seem pretty quick, and then continue on. I need to read A Veil of Spears or something like that. I think that's the 3rd book. It's yellow, but I'm excited for it. So I'll let you guys know what I think when I get to these. After that, I got a special deluxe faux leather-bound edition of a Michael J. Sullivan book. That is Drummond. This is the 5th book in the Ryaria Chronicles. If you don't know, Michael J. Sullivan has a lot of books that are set in this same world. The original series is the Ryaria Revelations. It's a 6-book series. Most often you're going to find them in 3 bind-ups. So the first 2 books are in 1 book, and they call it Theft of Swords, which is the name of the first book. He wrote a prequel series called the Ryaria Chronicles, which follow the characters in the past, and I've been really enjoying them. So when the opportunity arose to get the Chronicles, which is gonna be a 8-book series in these beautiful faux leather-bound editions, I took it. This series and the original series follow characters named Royce and Hadrian. Hadrian is a mercenary, Royce is an assassin, and at the beginning of the first book, they are framed for trying to kill the king, and then they have to get out of that situation, and it's all about figuring out what the heck is going on, why were they framed, who's pulling all the strings, mystery solving, fighting. It's a grand old time. And I've just really, really enjoyed the Chronicles so far, so I picked it up. It is absolutely stunning. The end pages are beautiful, and I'm excited to have this on my shelf. Next up, I picked up Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson. This is the 5th tome in the Stormlight Archive series by Brandon Sanderson. This is set in his Cosmere, which is where he sets most of his adult fantasy novels. It's like one universe, a bunch of different planets that all have their own magic systems, but they all kind of overlap in different ways. I've really enjoyed this series so far. I've read the first 3 books. I did a discussion video for the 3rd book, which I get a lot of hate on. A lot of it is because I pronounce the characters' names incorrectly, but Brandon Sanderson has said he doesn't care how you pronounce his characters' names, so I'm gonna keep pronouncing them how I pronounce them in my head when I'm reading. I wanted to go ahead and pick up the 5th book when I saw it and add it to my shelf so it's ready to go, and I'm looking forward to it. I can't remember who this one's about, but I also don't want to read the blurb because I don't want to spoil myself, but I'm very much looking forward to picking this one up. If you guys don't know, the Stormlight Archives is set on a planet called Roshar. You follow a bunch of different characters in this world. Basically, the world is, and I'm sorry if you can hear Nook panting, he's panting right next to me. The world has this giant storm that passes through, like, constantly over and over and over again, and it's incredibly dangerous. The storm can like power up these like gems, but basically like the storm is the power of the world, and these different people have to figure out what's going on with it. There's a war that's happening between different groups of people on the planet, and they're all fighting over resources. What else is new? Kind of the main guy that you follow in the first book was, you know, doing really well, and then he made the incorrect people angry, and they took it out on him, and now he's forced to work and fight in like horrible conditions, and basically no one from his situation almost ever survives. So you're following him, he's trying to get himself out of that situation, or at least try to survive, and then you follow a bunch of other characters, obviously. It is a chonker, and I need to continue on. I'll let you guys know when I get to it. Since we're talking about Brandon Sanderson books, I have the deluxe editions of Words of Radiance, which is the 2nd book in the series. They have to get split up into 2 different books because they're so large you can't do it in one. So I have Way of Kings, which is the 1st book. Now I have Words of Radiance because they're absolutely beautiful, and I think I have most of the Brandon Sanderson leatherbound, faux leatherbound, I don't know which one is which, books, and I want to continue to collect them, so I picked this one up when I found out it was available. It ended up coming with some swag. It came with this box that has the swag in it. It came, oh, sorry, Stevie. She's good. Wait, no, I didn't know it. Stella was under the bed the whole time, so now she's here too. Anyway, the book came with some swag. La-ti-da. Came with this coin that says Literal Monster on it, playing cards, as well as some coasters, and one of those big, thick bookmarks. It also came with this. I believe that I picked Edge Dancer when I was subscribing to get the book. So it came with like an Edge Dancer swag kit. It's got keychains and more coins, more buttons. The coin that came in this was for Edge Dancer. Again, I'm pretty sure I picked Edge Dancer. Maybe because I like a character named Syl so much. I think she's so funny. It came with these keychains. There's also some stickers in there. Oh, there's like a banner as well. So yeah, there's an Edge Dancer banner, which has that same symbol for Edge Dancers on it. Stevie, you're okay, sweetheart. Next up, I picked up The Hexologist by Josiah Bancroft. I was intrigued by the cover, and I remember liking the back, so I wanted to check it out. This one follows, I believe, 2 brothers, Isolde, I don't know, and Warren Wilby. They live in a city, and they basically help people with different hexes and things that have happened to them. At the beginning of the book, you find out that the king really wants to be baked into a cake, and he's like been trying to put himself in ovens, and so they're trying to figure out what the heck is gonna go on with that and try to solve what happened to him, who hexed him, etc., etc. It's a more humorous urban fantasy adventure story, so at least I'm hoping that's what it is, and I'm looking forward to reading it. So again, I'll let you guys know when I get to it. If you've read it, let me know if I need to prioritize it. For any of these, you should be letting me know if I need to prioritize it ASAP. I was gifted the third book in the TJ Cloon hardcover Green Creek editions. If you guys don't know, I own this series already in the self-published paperbacks. TJ Cloon originally published them under some other publishing company, ended up getting his rights back and self-publishing them, and then Tor picked up certain of his titles. So I really like these covers and I wanted to pick them up in more sturdy hardback covers. So I think I have the second and third one, and so I'm just going to slowly gather the first and fourth. This is a male romance fantasy, adult fantasy series, and each book follows a different male couple, as you know, the main plot is also happening. I really enjoyed them, so I'm collecting these editions because I want them. The largest, thinnest book I think I own now is Spooky Lakes by Geo Rutherford. Geo is a TikToker. Well, she's an artist and illustrator and author. She loves spooky bodies of water. And every October, she does Spooky Lake Month on TikTok, and she does videos talking about different spooky, deadly bodies of water, and she kind of goes over some of the fun facts about them and stuff like that. And so she wrote a book and illustrated the book about some of, you know, the standout spooky lakes or bodies of water, and I really wanted to pick it up because I really love those videos. I think it would just be so fun to go through and see everything that she did in this book, and I wanted to support her. So I did, and I got this book, and it is gigantic. So I don't even think it can fit on my shelf. It's gonna have to be a coffee table book, and I'm okay with that. Next up, I recently read the first book / novella that a friend of mine published. His name is PJ Cruz. The first book is Bob Becomes an Agent, and I just picked up the second book, Bob Becomes a Superhero. It follows a character named Bob. At the beginning of the first book, he's just trying to become an actor and like get a breakout role. He's trying to get some extra roles where they're just like in the background or whatever. He ends up like accidentally becoming a secret agent, and it just follows him through that humorous journey. I'm assuming Bob somehow accidentally becomes a superhero in this one, so I'm excited to see how that unfolds. PJ has a really like funny sense of humor, and so he's like embedded that humor into this character in this book, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm going to continue along. So if you guys don't know, my husband now has an independent streaming radio station that he is on. So he has a show that's on from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time. It's live. He does it every weekday. You can call in. It's like old school radio. And I'm actually on that every weekday around 7:30. We play a game called No More Than 4. Anyway, he got some of these in to do a promotion. And it just so happens that I've recently picked up the hobby that it's with. I get to kind of flip through and see what it's all about. Harry Styles Crochet, the unofficial Harry Styles Crochet. It's got 20 plus projects, and it's by Leo Sartori. It just got in today, so I haven't really had a chance to flip through it, but it looks like it's got different patterns for different crochet projects. It's got a watermelon purse. It has a golden cardigan, and so the author has gone through, and there's an amigurumi, which is like toys version of Harry in here. So the author has gone through and created this crochet pattern book. I am gonna try to make something out of it. I don't know what I'm gonna try to make. Probably not like a whole sweater, because that seems a little ambitious. I'm currently making 2 crochet blankets. One I'm hoping to give to my nephew, the other is for myself, and I've made like one of those Woobles kits. That's what got me hooked. I'll give it a go, and if I make anything out of it, I'll let you guys know. But if you have any advice on crochet, give it to me, because I could use it. I also picked up this cool edition of Myrtto by Christopher Paolini. This is set in his Allegasia world, the same world that Aragon is set in. I grew up reading those books. They were published like as I was, growing up. I just really love that world. It's one of those nostalgia things for me. I can't exactly remember where this takes place in terms of like timeline, but my brother said I needed to read the 3 short stories that were published already before I jump into this, so I'm gonna do that. I moved and I have no idea. That's like the only book I lost in the move. I'll have to find that, read it, and then I get to pick up this one. But this one has, beautiful end pages. It's got the painting on the pages, and there is a sneak peek of the back of it as well. Just Beautiful, beautiful. Another book that I picked up, in part because of my brother, because he loves this series so much, is Malice by John Gwynne. I know so many people that have read this book and absolutely loved it. I know Sam from Thoughts on Tomes loves it. A lot of people loved this book back when it came out. A lot of people are still loving it. So I finally have picked it up. I'm going to give it a go. It's also a chunky one though, so I'm not exactly sure when, but if you guys influence me enough, I'll pick it up sooner rather than later. I don't know much about it. It's a high fantasy. It says the world is broken on the back. I'm sure you follow a bunch of different characters, and I'm just gonna jump in and see what it's about. I also picked up the sequel to The House in the Cerulean Sea, which is Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Cloon. There's been a little bit of time since the first one. In the first book, there's a character named Linus. He is tasked with going to this house in the Cerulean Sea to check out this orphanage, because in this world, magical youths are very much regulated and overseen. This specific orphanage has a lot of more dangerous magical youths at it. And so the government, which is the department in charge of magical youths, is that right? Dicamy assigns Linus to go there and make sure the rules are being followed and that these children are being properly cared for. It's hinted that they kind of want to find something wrong with it so that they can shut it down. And you follow Linus as he gets to this place. He starts to get to know these children. These children start to get to know him. He gets to start to get to know the caretaker of the orphanage. Since I liked that first book so much, I wanted to continue along and see where the story went from there. When I first read the first book, I made it in The Sims. I was like obsessed with it. I wanted to continue along, and I don't know if I've talked about this in a wrap-up yet, but it will show up because I have read it. More recently, I picked up Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. This was actually gifted to me by my aunt because she's the best. Emily Henry is a contemporary romance writer. She writes a bunch of stuff that people love. I've read a bunch of her books, and we usually read them for the House Salt Book Club. I'll leave a link down in the description to Sam's channel, which is where most of those videos lie. And this one, it follows two writers. They both are interested in writing a biography on a very reclusive woman who used to be very much in front of all of the tabloids and cameras and just, you know, kind of an it girl, and then disappeared. And no one has seen her in a really long time. Alice and Hayden are both invited to basically trial run writing this biography of this woman. I'm assuming a romance happens between them. We'll see. Next up, I picked up Oathbound by Tracy Dion. This is the third book in the Legendborn cycle. This book is the one that I put down that first book that I talked about, or the second book that I talked about. I started reading this one, and then I started reading this one. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go with this one. This one follows a character named Bree. At the beginning of the first book, you find out that she has been basically early accepted into college, so she's basically starting undergrad like a year or so early. She ends up trying to track down what happened to her mother. Her mother has passed away, and she thinks that something happened on the campus of this school. She ends up getting involved with a secret society, and you okay, Nook? She gets mixed up with a secret society, and then she starts to learn about what is going on with this secret society. The series as a whole has some Arthurian legend retelling situations. There is different types of magic, different types of creatures. All of that are involved in here, and I've really been enjoying it. I really loved the first book. I didn't love the second book as much, but I'm really intrigued to continue along and read the third book, and so far, I'm really enjoying it. So when I finish it, I'll let you guys know my thoughts. Next up, I picked up I Am the Walrus by Neil Schusterman and Eric Elfman. Eric Elfman and Neil Schusterman have teamed up for doing books together in the past. Anyway, I wanted to pick this one up because I basically read everything by Neil Schusterman. He's an auto-buy author for me. It sounds like this 14-year-old boy named Noah starts experiencing like transformation situations that he can't really control. Now someone is trying to kill him, and he's trying to figure out why and how. This is the first book in the Noah Files series. I'm not sure how many books it's gonna be, but again, Neil Schusterman is an auto-buy author for me, so I picked it up. I also picked up The Dawn of Yang Chen by F.C. Yi. This is another book in the Avatar: The Last Airbender universe. I read the first one by F.C. Yi, which follows the Avatar Kyoshi, and I really enjoyed that one, so I wanted to continue along and read more about different avatars in this world. It's Avatar: The Last Airbender. If you have not heard about it, Look it up. It's so good. And I've really enjoyed the first book that FCE has done in the world following a different avatar. I'll let you guys know what I think. Another book that I've already read is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This book came out earlier this year. It was the House Salt Book Club book for whatever month it came out. And so I will leave a link down in the description to our thoughts. This one follows a character named Haymitch. He is the most recent winner from District 12 before Katniss is put into the Hunger Games in the first book of the Hunger Games. So you follow him in his Hunger Games experience. In his Hunger Games, double the number of children are involved, and so you just have to watch him get reaped and sent to the capital. I really enjoyed seeing the midpoint. Like, we saw the one with President Snow. We read that one. I've like blocked it from my memory, but I remember kind of where the games are at back then to the games where Katniss is in the games, and now seeing this midpoint was really interesting, and seeing how the world has progressed from the first prequel that was released. But if you want to know more of our spoilery thoughts, again, that live show will be down in the description. It's also going to show up in a wrap-up at some point, so I'll give you more of my thoughts then. But yeah, picked it up. Another auto-buy author for me is Brandon Mull. So I picked up the Candy Shop War Carnival Quest, which I think is the book 3 in the Candy Shop Wars series. I had the first 2 books. Gosh, they came out a long time ago. So I read the first one. I don't think I've read the second one yet, but basically the children in these books get magical powers when they eat certain types of candy, and then they try to, you know, go on an adventure, save the world, etc., etc. I really enjoy Brandon Mull's writing. I think he took a hiatus from writing for a little while, so now he's starting to come out with books again, and I'm excited to see what's going on in the Candy Shop Wars. I also already read this one, but I picked up The Dragon's Promise by Elizabeth Lim. This is the second book in, oh gosh, I don't know the name of the series, but the first book is called The Six Crimson Cranes, and it follows a character named Shiori. At the beginning of the book, she and her brothers are cursed. Her brothers are turned into cranes. She has a metal bucket put on her head, and they're all cursed, and she can't take the metal bucket off her head without breaking the curse first. And if she speaks, one of her brothers dies. So she has to do it while not speaking. I enjoyed the first book. I enjoyed the second book. I think there's a third book out. Yeah, at some point I'm going to talk about this book. I think it'll be in my 2024 wrap-up part 2. So I'll let you guys know more of my thoughts then. But moving on. Next up was a gift from my brother-in-law. Each year for Christmas, this is like how long it's been, pick names out of a hat, and my brother-in-law got me this year, so he gave me a bunch of like dragon related things and a couple of books, one of them being Dragon Rider by Taran Matharu. This is Taran Matharu's, I want to say, first adult novel, and I don't know much about it other than, you know, it's got a guy and a dragon, and he becomes a dragon rider, I'm assuming. I'll let you gues know what I think. My battery is about to die, so the angle might shift, and I'm going to take these and put them on a different table so Stevie doesn't knock them over. All dogs are now out and chilling with Tony, but let's try to finish this up. I've only got a handful left. Another one of those dragon books was The Dragons of Deepwood Fen, The Book of the Holt, Part 1 by Bradley P. Insert how he actually says his last name. This one follows a character named Lorelei. She is an inquisitor. She is one of the best inquisitors of the kingdom, the city. And at the beginning of the book, her investigation leads her to this character named Ryland, who is posing as a dragon singer. Don't know what that means. Instead of just kind of questioning him or whatever, she knows that imprisoning him is going to set off some rebellion or war or something like that. So she frees him. They're both labeled as traitors, and they flee on Dragonback. And then, I don't know, you know, adventure ensues, trying to figure out what's going on. I'm excited, so I'll let you guys know what I think. If you've read it, let me know, and I'll bump it up on my priority list. But dragons, all about dragons. Love dragons. I got a middle grade book that had a dragon on the cover. This one is called Impossible Creatures by Catherine Rundell. This one follows a character, I've actually read this one already, named Christopher. So this will end up in a wrap-up at some point. Christopher, at the beginning of the book, goes to live with his grandfather. There has been some trouble in his life recently, and so he's going away. He's gonna go live with his grandfather over the summer. His one rule is he's not allowed to go to this like one area of the property. He doesn't listen. Adventure ensues. He finds this whole like hidden archipelago that is full of magical creatures and people, and he basically gets mixed up in this world and is trying to figure out how to save it, how to stop evil from taking over and draining the magic of this archipelago. And you follow all of that I enjoyed this book a lot. This book, for being a middle grade book, does not really pull punches all that much. And so I thought that was a little refreshing from a middle grade story. The characters are not always safe. I appreciate that. I think it's a series. I don't think it's a standalone. If it is a standalone, it shouldn't be because I want to know what happens next. I do believe it is a series. Yeah, book 1. I am going to continue along. Again, I've already read this one. It's going to show up in a wrap-up, so I will let you know my thoughts about this book more when I do that. Another book that I've read that will show up in my 2024 Part 2 reading wrap-up, which is going to be like the last 12 books that I read in 2024, was The Deep Sky by Yume Kitasai. This one follows a character named Asuka, and at the beginning of the book, you find out that she has woken up on this space station. She and a bunch of other people with the ability to have children, to bear children, are on this spaceship, and this spaceship slash space station is traveling in a very specific direction to reach a viable planet because Earth is not doing so hot. During the course of the story, you start learning more about Asuka because she technically wasn't really supposed to be on the space station at all. And so you jump between the present and the past where you're learning about Asuka's past at this school competition situation to try to compete to get a spot on this space station. And you also are following them in the present while they're on the space station because issues are starting to arise. They are not on track with where they need to be. And so the women and the people that are on the space station are trying to figure out, 1, did someone purposefully mess them up? And 2, how they're going to save themselves. All of those things in this book. This was so good. I've already read it. We did a live show on it for the House Salt Book Club, so I'll leave that down in the description if you want to check it out. Again, that's going to be spoilery, so if you haven't read it yet and you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch that yet. Again, I'm going to be talking about it in a wrap-up, but yeah, I definitely am going to check more out by this author because they did a really good job crafting this one. Moving on. I picked up the second book in the Percy Jackson and the Olympians The Senior Year Adventures, Book 2, Wrath of the Triple Goddess. This series, so far as I know, continues in the Percy Jackson world and follows the characters that have made it to a certain point in the world. Like, not every character survives every series. I don't know, and someone please tell me when I can read this series. I just recently continued on with the Trials of Apollo series, which is like the 3rd Greek / Roman series. So I read them interspersed in publishing order, but because I took such a long time to continue the Trials of Apollo, I have lost track and I don't know where I need to read what. I'm assuming that I need to finish the Trials of Apollo before I can start this one. If I'm incorrect on that, let me know, because I'd like to read them in the proper order. I also don't know where in order I'm supposed to read the book that follows Nico. I don't know where chronologically that falls. Someone please tell me that has read all those books. Let me know where I'm at. Currently, I have finished the Magnus Chase series, and I have read book 3 of the Trials of Apollo series. Do I need to finish the Trials of Apollo? Start this one? When do I read the Nico book? Let me know. I've already talked about him before, but I picked up this edition of, and it's going to be hard to see because it's kind of like just embossed, of Fable Haven by Brandon Mull. Let's see if you can see it. Yeah. It has the gold pages. It's got beautiful end pages, and it's also illustrated. So I saw that this edition was being published, and I love the Fable Haven series. My review of the first book in the Dragon Watch series, which is the sequel series to Fable Haven, last I checked, is still on Brandon Mull's website. So I'm a big fan of his. I have really enjoyed this series. If you don't know, this first book, this one, follows 2 siblings, Seth and Kendra. At the beginning of the book, they arrive at their grandparents' house. Their house is very isolated. It's on a big piece of property, and they're there for the summer. Very early on, they start to get into some mischief and find out that Fable Haven is a magical menagerie, and there are a ton of different creatures and magical beings that live on this land. One, to keep them safe from humans, but also to keep humans safe from them. Seth and Kendra get in tons of trouble and adventures, and I just have really enjoyed following them along, and I loved this edition when I saw it, so I wanted to pick it up and add it to my collection. I actually want to go back and see if I can get the other books in this edition, because that would be absolutely gorgeous. I love I love it. This is the back. I don't know if you can see that. There's the embossing there. It's a beautiful, beautiful edition, and I'm very, very happy to have it and add it to my shelves. Brandon Mull. Check it out if you have not read it. And you like middle grade. You know, that's a caveat. If you don't like middle grade, skip out on that one. But if you do like middle grade, that's a really good one. I then picked up 3 volumes of comics because my local comic book store is doing a free comic book day every Saturday in the month of May. I don't know if that's like a nationwide thing. I think there is a free comic book day, but my local comic book store turns it into a whole month. They're doing this deal where if you spend $5 each Saturday when you come to pick up free comics, then you get 2 free graphic novels from a selection of graphic novels the last Saturday. So I got the first, the second, and the third volumes of Middle West by Scotty Young and Jorge Corona. I believe this is all the volumes there are. I've read the first one so far. In this first volume, you find out that Abel lives in a fairly remote town in this almost like a little dystopian, maybe post-dystopian world. It's got some scientific advancements. It looks like there's like some sort of concoction or whatever that's fueling the buildings. A storm basically attacks the town, and then Abel goes on the run, and his dad, who is like not the best guy either, is trying to find him. His dad was like abusive in this first volume. So yeah, you follow that and you meet a whole bunch of characters. It's actually like really well done. I really like the story so far. At least in the first, how many issues? The first 6 issues. There's some of the artwork as well. So I'm excited to continue along. I'm going to read the final 12 issues, and I'll let you guys know what I think. This one's going to be in my first wrap-up of 2025. These will likely be in a second one. And then I was at the comic book store the other day, and by the other day I mean 2 days ago, and I almost picked up another story by Scotty Young, and I already started the Fairyland series, and I haven't finished that one yet either, so apparently I really like Scotty Young's style. Third to last book, I picked up Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. This one is the Household Book Club book for April. I haven't read it yet, and it's May. But it's quite short, but it follows this family, and at the beginning of the story, a woman like washes up on shore, and then very mysterious things start happening, and it's like I don't want to say it's a thriller because I'm not sure. There's definitely a mystery involving this woman, and it's something about trusting each other, seeing if they can trust each other. There's twists and turns. I'm excited. I haven't read it yet because I don't know when the book club live show is going to be, and I'm almost kind of waiting for that, so it's fresh in my mind. I haven't started it yet. I just put the bookmarker on the first page, but I'll let you guys know what I think when I finish it. I picked up Liel by Garth Nix. This is the second book in the Abortion trilogy. I read the first book at the end of last year, or maybe it was in the middle of the year. I'm not remembering, but I really enjoyed Sabriel. That's the first book. The third book is Abortion. You follow a character named Sabriel. Her dad is the Abortion, who kind of controls and encourages the dead to stay dead. The dead try to come back to life. Using these different magical bells, the Abortion keeps the dead from coming back to the land of the living. At the beginning of the book, her father goes missing, and she must take up kind of the role of the Abortion while she tries to find out what the heck happened to her dad. Where is he? Can she bring him back? And all of that stuff. There's a magical talking cat who's not really a cat. There's a whole bunch of adventure, and I really enjoyed the first book, so I picked up the second one. I'm not sure why it's in this plastic wrap, but I'm excited to read this one. I have read a lot of books by Garth Nix, and I always thought that Sabriel was going to be my favorite. I don't know why, just maybe the concept of the book, and so far that's turning out to be true, so I'm excited to continue on. Oh, I forgot to say I found this, this pin was like, it fell out. The last book in this book haul is The Hourglass Throne by Katie Edwards. This is the third book in the tarot sequence. In this world, Atlantis was real, and it was filled with different, very powerful, super-powered beings. The Atlanteans created a new Atlantis, which has like hooked up to the real world, and so real people and Atlanteans interact. And by real, I mean like regular human people. He's the last member of the Sun Court. Each court has abilities related to what their court is known as. So the Sun Court, he has like sun abilities. At the very beginning of the book, he is there to rob a different court because He doesn't have a whole lot of money. And he basically kind of gets tricked into delivering a package, a very important package, to somebody else. And it turns out to be like a human, and not a human. It ends up being a member of the court that he's trying to steal from. And so he has to take care of this kid. That's the first half. And then there's like a whole nother plot line with a different court in the second half. I'm not describing it very well, but I really did like it. I had a really good time while reading that book, and I loved the second book as well. So I've really enjoyed the characters. It's an adult fantasy romance series, and again, I've been enjoying it. So I wanted to continue along and read the third book. I'm assuming this has something to do with like time and whoever is gonna have like time powers. I'm excited. I got really into romance in like 2020, and it's just kind of continued as a thing. So those are all the books that I have received, purchased, acquired since the last book haul. If any of these books sound interesting to you, or if you've read them and you recommend them a lot, let me know those down in the comments. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and let me know anything else you want me to know down below, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.